Hello, readers. Today we are going to be focusing on grounding ideas in texts and carrying those ideas with us as we read. Yesterday, you got started in this work by reading Popularity, which is another short story from the collection by Adam Bagdasarian, First French Kiss. And yesterday, you got started by thinking about things that readers think about whenever they begin a story, characters. And that's the whole heart of our unit, isn't it? Deep study of character. So we're going to keep thinking about that today and pushing our thinking even farther. Today, I want to teach you that once readers settle on an idea or have a few ideas running around in their head, they pick one that they think is worth developing. And then they think, where does this idea live in the text? And then they reread passages that could possibly support that idea or show that idea, expecting each one to be a goldmine of new insights to their initial thinking. Let me show you a chart that helps me really break this down. I follow this chart whenever I'm doing this work on my own. So it has three nice steps. We first read, which we did a lot of yesterday. We read and generated ideas, a lot of ideas about the character, a lot of possible traits. We have a whole list of them. And then today, we're going to start by choosing one to develop further, thinking about places in the text we could go back to, and then rereading those really closely, thinking about new ideas that come up, and maybe even starting to put pieces together if we can. So right now, I'm going to go to my ideas. I'm going to start with this first step. I'm just going to go to my ideas and just think of what I could use today as my lens. I've already reread some of my ideas, and if you were on your own, I'd encourage you to kind of reread a bunch of your ideas in Google Keep or on your Post-its and really think, well, what do I feel like is worth developing? What feels like a really big, important idea about this character in my story? So you might be doing that on your end. On my end, I'm just gonna jump right to it. I'm gonna pick this one because it kind of looks like a lot of the jots that I'm seeing from you, and also has a big idea that I feel like is definitely interesting and makes me kind of ask a lot of questions and have a lot of wonderings about the book just by throwing it out there. So here it is. I think Will is a jealous character because he is unhappy with his friends and he wants different ones. He wants to be popular. Okay, so maybe your idea looks like this, maybe it doesn't, but the one really great thing about this one is it has a trait idea, a potential trait. And it has some reasons of why. So he's jealous because maybe he really wants to be popular. He doesn't like his friends. He's feeling unhappy. So now I need to go to the text and find some places that I could reread to see if I can maybe explore this more, expand on it. So I'm going to that second piece. Where does this idea live in the text? So let me just jump right to that. I might have a little plan in mind for how this will go, especially if you have a partner or a book club. You might talk to them about maybe what parts or what chapters feel really important. Like right now, I'm thinking just before I even jump in, I kind of know where I want to go. I want to find the places where he's talking about the popular boys, because that to me was really where I could tell that he wanted to be popular, is because he was talking about them. And sometimes he does just come right out and say he wants to be popular. But he also does a lot of like, I just remember from what he was saying, what he was thinking about. He was saying and thinking a lot about how he and his friends are different from the other people at school, how they're like outsiders, and how he feels like he's kind of like on his own or isolated. So I'm gonna just find parts where he really brings up the other kids specifically. So I'm just gonna scan a bit. Here's the first one. Let me try this one. Let's see if I can figure something out that's maybe new. While the two Allens faced off, I looked across the black tar and asphalt at a crowd of boys who were making noise and seemed to be having more fun than anyone else on the playground. These were the popular boys. So I kind of just hear it already, him saying like they're having more fun. Maybe I can add on to this jot now. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something really cool, which I hope that you all do when you go off on your own today. I'm going to open this up in a document. So cool. So right now I'm going to click these three little dots. go to copy to Google Docs, open the doc, and there it is. Beautiful. If you need those steps again, definitely rewatch it. It's a really cool thing that you can do today when you go off on your own. Now I have so much space to add on. So I'm going to write another color just to show you that I'm adding on to my idea today. And I want to use that part that I just read. Maybe I could try to say something like how this part kind of reveals what he really wants, or like how he maybe is jealous because they're having more fun. One place that shows this is when I'm going to be more specific, in the beginning of the story, when Will is looking over at all of the popular boys. He says that they seemed to be having more fun than anyone else in the playground. You see how I literally just took what was on that page in the story and put it on my page here too? I'm not copying it though. Do you see how I'm using quotation marks to show you that I got this from a story? Yeah, this is the kind of writing you want to be doing now in your own jots about texts. You want to be thinking of them as like little mini blurbs for literary essays. So now that I have the place in the text, I've named it. One place that shows this is in the beginning of the story. I have the text evidence. Now maybe I can explain what this means or why this is significant. Let me try. This shows that he wishes he were having as much fun. Let me see if I can like push myself. This is, let's see, maybe I could use some thought prompts that I've used before in other years, or I could use some from our Padlet, which I'll pull up at the end of this to show you. So I have a bunch of thought prompts. Oh, this is giving me the idea that, this is giving me the idea that he wants to be a part of this group and experience fun too. Right now, he isn't having much fun at all. Okay, let me read that back now. I'm going to read what I wrote yesterday and what I wrote today. Let's just see the difference now, how I've grown it. Yesterday, I said, I think Will is a jealous character because he is unhappy with his friends and he wants different ones. He wants to be popular. Today, one place that shows this is in the beginning of the story when Will is looking over at all of the popular boys. He says that they seem to be having more fun than anyone else in the playground. This shows that he wishes he were having as much fun as, I can even revise as I go, like I'm writing an essay, as they. This is giving me the idea that he wants to be a part of this group and experience fun too. Right now, he isn't having much fun at all. I feel like I really grew this big. And I'm thinking that maybe I have like something to add on to my idea from yesterday. What about something new? Maybe I can go to another part of the text. Let me try that. I'm going to go skip to another part of the text, or maybe just scan. If I was in a chapter book, maybe I'd try a different chapter, maybe a little bit farther in. I think definitely that part where he's thinking a lot about how he wants to be popular, maybe like, oh, I remember this. This is kind of like where we left off yesterday. I wonder what my position in the group might be. I certainly wasn't a great athlete or ladies' man. What was it? Oh, right. He was looking at Sean Owens. No, he was looking at Mitch, that guy Mitch, to see how he was reacting. I could add this. This would be like in the middle of the whole story, but maybe it's like middle to the end. Another place that shows this is in the middle of the story, when And you see how I would probably then put in the text details and then grow my idea a little bit further too. So right now, what I want you to do is I want you to start looking over your jots from your book club book. Even if you've finished your book club book or you are nearly done, you can still do this because guess what? So much of this work of growing ideas is from rereading parts. So start by just rereading your ideas you've had about your book. Then think about some places where you could go in the text to find that information to support it. And then you're going to reread those. And guess where I want you to do this? I want you to do this fancy work that I just did by going to Google Keep, where you're going to be looking at your jots. You're going to open them up into a Google Doc, just like how I did. And I want you to add on the same way that I did. Check the Padlet or Google Classroom today for some thought prompts to help you push your thinking further. But the best thing for you to do is to follow these exact same steps and get started right away in your book club book, if that's possible. And if it's not possible, just use your independent reading book. As long as you're reading something that you've been pretty invested in, it's going to make for some really interesting thinking work today. Good luck, and I can't wait to see what you do.